Hello, I am Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends, and today I bring you a video in the Tier 7 American battleship, USS Iowa. Now you might be thinking, if you looked at the title of this video, that I've lost my marbles. I've gone crazy. The Iowa? A DD Slayer, you say? Well, everybody knows the Iowa is probably not the most efficient DD Slayer in terms of battleships. If you really want to slay some underage ships, then you need to take out the big British guns, or maybe the small British guns. The King George V and the Nelson, with their incredible HE Alpha strikes, are much better equipped to deal devastating damage to destroyers, at least better equipped than the Iowa is. Nevertheless, it is my opinion that any battleship can excel in the art of slaying destroyers, so long as the destroyers decide that their best course of action is to YOLO rush the battleships and try to torpedo them into oblivion. That is what's going to happen here with not one but both destroyers on the enemy team, and that is something I find incredibly entertaining, which is why I'm featuring this video. I do like to feature videos that I find entertaining, or games that I find entertaining, and what can be more entertaining than stopping two enemy destroyers from YOLO torping you into oblivion? Not much, in my opinion. We get a Citadel there, though, on that Leon, who has hit us for quite a bit of damage. I thought I was a little bit better angled to the Leon. Perhaps not. Or maybe I was appropriately angled, and he's just using Jajard and Von Essen, perhaps, as an inspiration, and therefore getting better penetrations on my angled side armor. Or maybe it's all superstructure. Who knows? Either way, he's dead, not by my hand, but by the hand of a friendly Jean Bart. Now, the Fletcher is in the Charlie Cap. He's taking it. Gonna shoot the rear guns at him and miss. That's okay, though. We're gonna turn into this Bravo Cap. We don't want to really engage the Fletcher head-on. I'd rather keep the island between myself and the Fletcher. Now, of course, destroyers can use island cover to sneak up on battleships and torpedo them, but battleships can also use island cover as a barrier between themselves and destroyers. And if you know a destroyer is coming around an island, and you point your guns in their direction ahead of time, then you're going to have a lot more luck in dealing with them. You might not kill them, but if you hit them with your guns, even if it's with AP, you are going to do a significant amount of damage to them. And any amount of damage that you take in a destroyer is significant, because there are no destroyers, apart from the Kid, at least to my knowledge, that come with repair parties. So if a destroyer loses a hit point, they've lost it for the entire game. If they lose a lot of hit points, it dramatically changes the way that they play, which is why I kind of hate it when enemy destroyers try to YOLO me in a battleship. They might kill me, and that sucks, but 9.9 times out of 10, I would say YOLO torping a battleship in a destroyer is an extremely ineffective use of your ship and a waste of time. You might hit the battleship with your torpedoes, you might even get a devastating strike on them, but more likely than not, you're going to trade away a lot of your hit points in the process, and that is not good for you. You want to have a lot of hit points so you can counter the enemy destroyers, or take the capture circles, or do pretty much anything more useful than trying to get a dev strike on a battleship when you're in a destroyer. I'm here to tell you again that your total damage number at the end of the game is not, in fact, an indicator of how well you played. The better indicator, in my view, is XP. And, you know, you're not gonna get as much XP as you could if you spend your time trying to YOLO torp a battleship, waste all your hit points, and then you don't have enough to deal with the enemy destroyers or flip capture points. That's your job as a destroyer, not to torpedo battleships. Now, in fairness, that Fletcher has secured the Charlie Cap for his team before he is going to do what he ends up doing, and the Alpha Cap has been secured by the enemies also. But the Minsk, here he comes. He is obviously going on a YOLO torpedo run. I hold my shots, though, because I want every single shell to hit this Minsk. I don't want to miss him with even one. I want to maximize all the damage I can do to him. One of the friendlies gets a good hit on him. I'm waiting for him to turn. There he goes. Shot is out. He is dead before he can even launch his torpedoes. And unfortunately for him, just a failed torpedo run on his part. Now the Fletcher is on the other side of me. He's probably launched torpedoes through that gap. So I'm going to pull forward so that there is no danger that they will hit me. And I'm not going to go out past this island. That was only one set of torpedoes from the Fletcher. He's got another. So I don't want to make it easy for him to hit me. And I also don't really want to pay too much attention to this Amagi until the Fletcher has been dealt with. The Amagi is the biggest threat to me and the friendly battleship, by the way, who is near me and shooting at the Amagi. I don't know if he doesn't have a shot on the Fletcher, but if he does, it's inexcusable, in my view, for him to be shooting at the Amagi. The Amagi doesn't matter if there is a destroyer right there with torpedoes. You can angle against the Amagi's AP in a battleship. You cannot angle against torpedoes. You have to dodge them. Now, I do take 2 torpedoes there, but I'm in no imminent danger of being sunk. The Fletcher, on the other hand, he's played all of his cards. He's launched all of his torpedoes at me. He's got a long time before they reload. I don't think the friendly battleship has hit the Fletcher at all, except by his secondaries. So I finish him off and prove that the Iowa can, in fact, in certain situations, be a slayer of those destroyers. Well, at least in this situation, it might not work out all the time. You kind of need the enemy destroyers to make bad moves like that. And YOLO rushing a battleship in a destroyer is almost always a bad move. So please, stop doing it. Not just because I don't want to be eating a bunch of torpedoes from YOLO torping battleships, but because your team does not want you to go off on close-range torpedo runs at enemy battleships. They want you to spot for them. They want you to take the capture circles and generally do things that contribute to winning the game. At least I do. And you can argue that maybe it's fun to rush battleships and try to torpedo them because you like the devastating strikes and the big damage numbers, but, you know, in my opinion, winning is the most fun. So I'd say do the stuff that helps you win rather than the crazy kamikaze strikes that we saw there. And, you know, I'm not going to say that getting big damage numbers isn't satisfying. Of course it's satisfying. But again, your raw damage number is not really an indicator of how well you did in a game. It's your base XP number, I'd say, that is a better indicator. And you're going to find that at the end of this match, even though I don't think we end up even breaking 100k damage, which, you know, that's a relatively low amount of damage for the Iowa, considering what it's capable of. But we're going to end up top of the leaderboard with, I think, a little bit over 2,000 base XP by the time this match is over. And a lot of that XP will have come from taking that capture point, Bravo, in the middle of the map, and also from taking away the majority of the hit points from both the Fletcher and the Minsk. I don't know exactly what the percentage was that we took from the Fletcher or the Minsk. Could have been 40-50% from each of them, I'm not sure. But I can tell you for a fact that taking 50% of the hit points from a destroyer is worth the same in terms of XP earning and credit earning as taking 40 or 50% of the hit points away from an enemy battleship. The only difference is the superficial amount of damage you do. You can take 50% of the hit points away from a battleship and end up with, I don't know, 35-40k damage done, which is quite a bit. Or you can take 50% of the hit points away from a destroyer and end up with like 7k damage done. Doesn't look maybe as impressive on a surface glance as beating the crap out of a battleship, but in my opinion, much more valuable for your team and for your chances at winning. Leon goes down, the game ends. Hope you found it somewhat entertaining, maybe a little bit informative. If so, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't done that already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.